Goodsell. Having an early morning. I've got the video that I did earlier uploading on YouTube. Still have the fan, but it's nice outside. This just, it kind of sucks with this apartment. And that's what we're here to talk about. As those of you who followed my channel, and it's pretty much those who are seeking to destroy me, who have been following my channel to try to find fault with me to get rid of me. I am not welcome in the state of Utah anymore. It's been made very clear. My landlord has hired property management, and the property management has filed to evict me. And they're making lots of claims, and I can't go into details. I can't give you specifics. And they are watching. But Utah has laws concerning wrongful evictions. And I'm going to go over that with you. Isn't this fun? There are three main common types of wrongful evictions. 1, retaliatory eviction. 2, not following state eviction procedures. 3, privacy violations or harassment. In this particular case, I am a victim of all 3 to qualify for this being a wrongful eviction. Retaliatory evictions. Tenants who file a complaint with government authority. I've done that. I showed evidence. The sad reality is that for these eviction cases, all they need to do is file a complaint. I have to prove my innocence. This is disgusting. This is a violation of my rights, because all they've got against me is accusations. See, witnesses are not evidence. Witnesses are used to support the evidence. When a witness testifies contrary to the evidence, they're a false witness. They get in trouble. I've supplied the evidence to defend myself because they refuse to acknowledge the evidence. All they have are the accusations. And they have quite a lot. They got to add more to the conspiracy against me. But yes, I filed government complaints throughout this whole time. I established a timeline for the judge in order to provide proof of my innocence. This is a 1080p web camera, so there is no audio problem. It's the fan you're hearing. And the viewing, it's 1080p quality. But it thinks it wants to self-adjust. Not where I want it to be. I have props in the background for a very specific purpose. And if the camera chooses to blur those out, it pisses me off. Second, a renter who is involved in a tenant's organization. No, I'm not in a tenant organization. someone who has filed a lawsuit against the landlord for an unrelated issue. They filed, after I filed my answer and counterclaim, a request for an immediate hearing. It's an E word. And it's scheduled for Tuesday. I had filed a lawsuit. They brought up in their additional disclosures that people were claiming they didn't know I had a lawsuit filed back in the day. And the lawsuit was including the landlord. The lawsuits were two of them, including the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So they're trying to claim that my claims of a lawsuit was fake news. I got to show them the birth certificate. I provided the case numbers to those two federal lawsuits and the emails where I notified them of the lawsuit. It's just unbelievable. And so yes, they brought in the church as part of this conspiracy, which is what I've been telling you the whole time. They did it, not me. I didn't bring up the church in this particular case as a defense. They introduced the church because they wanted to claim my claims to a lawsuit were fake news. And so yes, now the church is involved, and I provided that lawsuit that the church filed against me, which involved something else that they were trying to claim that I was frauding the government with. And so that lawsuit got to shut them up. So yes, they violated that one too. And then fourth, a resident who has notified the landlord about potential lead hazards in the property? No. Including the notification that a child, no. So, not following state eviction procedures, yeah. You have move any of the tenant's belongings out of the rental property without a court order. You can't do it until the order is given. You gotta wait. You can't do anything to the tenant prior to. And they didn't really move any of my property out of the rental property, but they shut off my main source of income. Remember? And so they didn't change the logs, but there were numerous instances where they cut off utilities to the home. It's just, they had no interest in following the law. If I had truly done something wrong that they had evidence of, rather than accusations manufactured to evict me, then they wouldn't need to have cut off my money, stopped my utilities, for the sole purpose of getting a default judgment because I can't go to the hearing now. Have no money, can't get there. Have no phone service, can't call in. Have no copy and printer service, can't produce documents to bring with me to show at the hearing if I were to be able to get there. They knew all this in advance because they cut me off from these things which they were not supposed to do. Breach of quiet enjoyment. Interruption of utilities, such as electricity or water. Yeah, the laundry. And it's not utilities, but they did other stuff, purposely to torment me, to torture. Improper entry into my property. Yeah, they pulled that stunt too. Letting others into the residence without due notice or consent. The improper entry was more than letting others in without due notice. They did give due notice of a proper person who was to look in the apartment. So, not an issue there. But yes, there was somebody who thought they'd tag along, who was not properly allowed. Violation of rights via gossip. Yeah, that was well established by me, as I had the evidence. Dear God. Multiple people were involved in this. They've turned the tenants against me now. Showing up at tenant's workplace to discuss landlord-tenant related issues. Yeah, this is sort of my workplace, but I don't qualify to call it a workplace for tax purposes. Did you watch that video? Al Capone, collector for Nelson's Covenant Path. It's tax deductible. That was just inspiring. And so, what are the penalties now that they've committed a wrongful eviction against me? Well, I can claim legal fees, I can claim court costs, I can claim damages, triple, I think it's called, 3 times the actual damages, or 3 times the monthly rent. And I didn't even put triple. I didn't realize I could do that. But my damages are pretty high because of what they did. They literally cut off money. Haven't had money this whole year. That's attempted murder. And because there are bosses who hire people to do the crimes against me, that's solicitation to commit murder. Conspiracy to murder. Hiring an assassin to murder. I'm watching Pretender now. Saw the episode yesterday where Jared becomes an assassin. Love that show. Makes me weep on several episodes. But because they tied in the church, exactly what my lawsuit was all about for the federal filings. Dear God, they just handed it to me, saying, "Hey Travis, we want to go to prison. We're going to manufacture some complaints about you, violate the law, and then have you present the evidence against us so that we can then go to prison. Is that okay with you?" Oh my God. There's punitive damages. Yeah, depending on state regulations. Yeah, emotional damage, other damages, etc. Yeah, those are included. Return of the entire security deposit. I really don't give a damn about that. I figure that's lost. I've been here for, is it 6 years or 7 years? It was 2015, it's 2022, so 7 years. 7 years I've been here. If I leave, they're going to need to remodel everything. The floor, repaint the walls, etc. So I don't really care about the security deposit. They can have it to refurnish the place. But, and then prison time. They committed crimes. A lot of these involve crimes. You can't commit a crime. That should be a no-brainer. Like I said, if they had evidence that I had actually done something wrong, rather than manufacturing a lie, then all they had to do was go through the eviction process. They didn't have to tamper with anything. They didn't have to torture me. They didn't have to deceive the government. They didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was get a lawyer, go through the process, here's the evidence, boom, gone. I couldn't defend against it. I wouldn't have the evidence to claim my innocence. But no, they attacked wrongfully. This is a wrongful eviction. And it's blatantly obvious, and it's the death penalty that they're guilty of now. The whole solicitation to conspire to murder with RICO, yeah, death penalty. This is how desperate they were to get rid of me. They have tampered through this whole process back with my federal lawsuit. They have compromised people, like tithing. The church compromises you if you itemize your taxes and include tithing on your deductibles. They compromised you. You are now guilty of a crime. Likewise, the church and all people down the chain of command have had people compromised. The witnesses compromised. Now, some of them are victims. Some of them had to recuse themselves. Some of them got fired or transferred. Some of them had to take time off. This is how ugly it is. You can't commit crime. And the majority of these people are Mormons. But it all goes right back to the church now, because they introduced it into the supplemental disclosures. It's just, dear God. And so there is a concern, because judges are also compromised. The main judge recused herself. I was notified by the court of a different team. They call them teams. And because of the different team, I'm concerned that maybe this one is compromised, because their accusations are criminal nuisance, for the eviction. If the judge rules against me, despite all the evidence I provided, I could be gone instantly, and I wouldn't know it until they serve the order. The judge did not render an order on my summary judgment I filed, and I had to file a second one, and then I filed supplementary disclosure. No response. The clerk of the court did not deal with my latest filing until the noon, 12:21 yesterday. That was concerning to me. I don't know what that means. I don't know if a whole bunch of people just submitted a whole bunch of filings that morning and she finally got around to mine at 12:21. It's the last day of the work week for the court. But if the judge ordered against me, I could be served anytime today, and I have to immediately leave. I'm out, I'm gone. You'll never hear from me ever again. This video could be the last. Is this other video done? Oh, it's at 95% processing. So hold on a minute while I go over this, or wait for this. This could take hours depending on when the Mormon is working. Again, you're not allowed to commit crime. And yet, on YouTube, as many of you have also experienced, I am attacked. There is no crime in exposing crimes of the church. But for some reason, Mormons think they have to defend the church. If the church has done nothing wrong and they're innocent, they're already protected by the Constitution of the United States of America, Amendment number 1. They don't need religious freedom to exempt themselves from adhering to the rights to transgender or LGBTQIAPO+ rights. They're protected as a religion. They don't need to fear the gay agenda, as they themselves got caught talking about it. Yes, my day went well, thank you. Replying to one commenter. Alright, so I'm going to finish this video off and then deal with So, picked up one during the hour the processing time or uploading time of the video. But I'm hoping that it's because the judge is kind of worried as to what to rule or how to rule in my favor. Because there's some serious stuff going on. There's going to be major news that will happen. And he's missed the Friday night news dump, which would be Thursday night news dump for the courts here in Utah. And so there's some things he's required to do if he's not compromised by the church, as there have already been those compromised already. Government officials, including the first judge. And so I would hope he would do the right thing and do his duty to the Constitution. But as it stands, if he didn't do anything, he took the weekend to think about things, Because again, the hearing's not until Tuesday. So I doubt he would have given an order premature of the hearing. It's unclear. I will have to give notice that I cannot attend the hearing. It's already been understood and spoken. They're pushing for a default judgment because they've got no evidence. This is what criminals do. They compromise people to get default conditions, to claim innocence. Oh, well, you defaulted, you didn't show, so we automatically win. Finders keepers, losers weepers. We stole it, but, you know, we found it. So, that's the situation. I won my case. I'm the defendant. I shouldn't have to. They have to prove their case. But the court systems of the nation have screwed up civil courts. And it makes it tougher for those who are defendants. Except unless you're the church. Then you can't sue. Because they're the church. So, that's basically it. So if you don't hear from me ever again, I've got other videos planned for today. It's only 3 o'clock, but these take time to upload and make and such. So, yeah. But again, the church, all they had to do was leave me alone. I came to them saying, hey, I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. Joseph Smith is a translator. Isn't that awesome? The founder of our church is a translator. Great news, right? Yeah. The video I just did about the name of the church, and even the tax deductible thing, in all my videos, make it very clear why they don't want people to confirm Joseph Smith is true. They claim Joseph Smith is true, but they claim their version of Joseph is true. As they keep claiming, or keep changing their version of Joseph being true. Like, for example, Joseph Smith translated from the golden plates, and now it's a rock and a hat. Didn't even need the plates. And so, no, they will not acknowledge the truth that Sidney Rigdon was the major author and Joseph Smith Sr. was the one who rewrote the 116 pages. And they can't, because they're the reason why Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith Sr. had to rewrite the 116 pages that Junior lost while babysitting Martin Harris. And if you don't know real church history, you don't know what I'm talking about. But I refer to Heber C. Kimball under Masonry in Wikipedia. And again, if you're not going to do your research, you're not going to understand. You're just Mormons. So yes, I've been telling you this. It's real simple and obvious and easy to figure out. Just look at Heber C. Kimball, read the Masonry part, and then go to Smith Sr. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll even write to put it in Heber C. Kimball links for you, and Joseph Smith Sr. Look them up if you're even still listening to this video. You'll see exactly what I mean. You have to go to Early Life of Joseph Smith Sr., because after I've done the videos about it, the church went back in and deleted it from the introduction paragraph. But it's still in the Early Life part. So, I hope I can continue to do videos over the weekend, but you'll understand why now if you never hear from me ever again.